Hello students, I hope you're all doing well. CA Foundation exams are starting in 2 days and I'm sure your preparation is at the top gear right now. Here I am to give you a guide on how to cover the entire syllabus in 2 days. On the first day, you will start off with chapter 1 and cover up to chapter 7. Please start with chapter 1, all the 7 units. I don't want you to miss a unit in between because in case you miss a particular unit, you do not come back to that unit. In chapter 1, concentrate on unit 3, capital versus revenue items, unit 4, contingent assets and contingent liabilities. Once you finish chapter 1, come down to chapter 2. Again, go in order. Go ahead with journal, ledger, trial balance, subsidiary books. When you come down to cash book, do not forget to revise important topics of 3-column cash book and petty cash book. When you come to rectification of errors, make sure to do all concepts, all the 3 cases before trial balance, after trial balance and after preparation of financial statements. This will cover your chapter 1 and 2. Come down to chapter 3, bank reconciliation statements. Make sure to also cover a question on adjusted cash book. When you come down to chapter 4, inventory reconciliation, you will of course do your methods of valuation of inventory, FIFO, LIFO, average, weighted average along with preparation of stock statement, but also cover questions of stock reconciliation, physical verification before valuation date, physical verification after valuation date and the reconciliation of stock. Coming down to chapter 5, depreciation, you will of course do methods of depreciation, but along with that you also need to cover change in useful life, change in method of depreciation, revaluation of a fixed asset, important topic of amortization, intangible assets added under the new scheme, 2 questions under this concept to be covered. You also have the concepts of provision for depreciation and fixed asset disposal account. Do not skip any point, try to have a summarized revision of all the points. Then you will come down to chapter 6 dealing with bills of exchange. Many small points to be covered over here. Discounting of a bill, renewal, retirement, endorsement, insolvency, all these small points are quite simple, but do not forget to also cover accommodation bills. Then you will come down to chapter 7, final accounts of a sole proprietor. This should be your target for day 1, that is 2 days before the exam. 1 day before the exam, on day 2 of your revision, you will come down to chapter 8, 9, 10, 11. Chapter 8 dealing with final accounts of non-profit organizations. Chapter 9, final accounts from incomplete records. In case a student is planning to skip non-profit organizations, please do not skip it completely. At least do the short questions where they ask you to calculate income received, expense paid or income or expense for the current year. 4 to 6 marker questions can at least be attempted in the exam. Then you will cover your accounting from incomplete records and then you will step to chapter 10 and 11. Chapter 10 and 11, very important from exam point of view. Questions are surely expected to come. Chapter 10, you will do partnership accounts. Every student will revise admission, retirement, death of a partner. But do not forget unit 1, you have capital ratio, minimum guaranteed profit. When you come down to unit 6, dissolution of partnership firm, do not forget to do piecemeal distribution. Both the methods, maximum loss method and higher relative capital method. Of course, along with Garner versus Murray for insolvency. Coming down to chapter 11, the first 3 units are quite simple. Issue of shares, issue of debentures. Most of the students are very comfortable with the journal entries. In case you get confused with the amounts, make sure your concepts of categories of capital are clear. In the categories of capital, make your concepts clear on issued capital, paid up capital, called up capital. Calculation of the amount for the journal entry will also become simple. Then you come down to the other 3 units again added under the new scheme, issue of bonus shares, right shares, redemption of preference shares and redemption of debentures. In these 3 units, if you are finding certain questions difficult, at least make sure to do the questions from the ICI material before you go for the exam. First day, chapter 1 to chapter 7. Second day, chapter 8, 9, 10 and 11. When you are revising these points, make sure that do not do any new concept, do not do any new video. Anything that you have left, do not study in the last 2 days. I don't want you to refer anything new. I don't want you to panic during the exam. Whatever you have already studied, trust your preparation. You get confused on a particular point, go refer the recordings, go to the Yeshas Academy marathon, but do not refer any new video in the last 2 days. You've been preparing for months together, last another week to go. Stay strong, keep studying, you shall pass.